What's going on, guys? In this video I'm not gonna talk about bodybuilding, training, dieting, but I want to share a little bit about my personal life, all right? My experience growing up under the Assad regime, the dictatorship, all right? And it just feels weird to just talk about it openly like this. This is how brainwashed our mind was because we were controlled by fear. It just feels weird saying that Assad is gone and that his regime has fallen. I was talking with my friend this morning who lives in Syria, and he doesn't even dare to say it on the phone because we were so living under fear, because everything you would say on the phone, someone would listen to it. All right, between 2-3 people, one guy would be part of the service, the secret service, and if you say something against the government, they would tell on you and they would come take you from your home and you would disappear. All right, that's what happens to many of my friends that I grew up with, of people that I know. One of my childhood friend, he once said that he was against the government. Nobody found him anymore. He disappeared, and up until now, I just shared his picture on my story on Instagram today. But it's just to show you how much people were living in fear and nobody used to dare to say anything. All right, I've been away for 12 years. I didn't go back to my country. I left the country because at the age of 18, you gotta do the army over there. All right, you gotta serve the army, and serving the army for a dictator, you don't know when you'll end up. You don't know where you'll end up and when it's gonna end. You don't know what you'll end up doing. All right, and I was fortunate enough that I was able to leave the country. I'm a privileged guy, because most people didn't have that privilege to be able to leave the country and travel. All right, I was part of the French school. My dad was he was wealthier, let's say, than most of the average Syrians. So he put us in the French school, me and my brother, to learn a new language. And guess what? In that French school, we see a lot of those elite people that their parents would be part of the government, or big businessmen, or generals, or ancient soldiers. And over there, if your dad or someone in your family is related to the president, because a lot of family president, or your father, maybe he was a general in the army, you know what? You could even pee on the floor in the classroom. You could step on the teacher's head and nobody will say anything to you, because those people are praised in our country. Those people are idolized. They idolize the president. Imagine growing up as a kid, many times me and my friends, we end up really getting our ass kicked by either secret services or people that are part of those elites, and you can't even say anything. You can't even open up your mouth. All right, because if you do, guess what? They might come and take you, and you will never sleep in your house anymore, and you might disappear. They might torture you. We're seeing those torture prisons that they are discovering now, because people were against the government. One of my childhood friend, Ghalla, his name is, you can see him on my Instagram. Well, that's what happened to him. He disappeared all of a sudden. And one day I went to his mom's house after a few weeks that he disappeared. And it was just so sad, because just imagine those moms that lost their child, and it's crazy. It's things that I can't even put into words, but it wasn't people now are able to talk, because let's say I would share that a year ago when the government was still there. Well, my mom was there. So you're scared to share what happened because you have family over there. So you wouldn't say anything. Now they're gonna discover and uncover a lot of things, because now finally people can speak, and finally people can share a little bit of their experiences. One time there was one guy of the elite. He was a child, like we were kids. He was in school, and like me and my friend, we were playing soccer with him, and something happened. We ended up arguing with each other with him. Next thing you know, we're leaving the school, and they come to work to school with bodyguards. Can you imagine a 15-year-old kid coming to school with bodyguard that are all wearing the army uniform, and there are mean mugging kids? They took me after the school, and they're like, "You had a fight with this guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I had a fight with him because this is what happened," and we were changing words. They took me in a corner, 4 or 5 guys, tall guys. They were coming from a village. They barely know how to speak. These guys are just insane. And they kept hitting me, kept hitting me. I swear to God, I was on the floor. People were watching. Nobody would dare. Nobody would dare to come and stop them, because if you stop them, it automatically means that you're against them, so you're against the government. So you would get your part after, you know. And thank God I was under 18, so probably they were like, yeah, this guy is just a kid, we'll just let him go. But if I was an adult and disagreeing with them, forget it. Whatever you disagree with people that were those pro regime, I don't know how to call it in English, but those enthusiasts of the regime, they were controlling people by fear. They were really stepping on people's head. One time I was driving with my dad, and there was this car, just for fun. They had the Syrian flag, and they had the president's picture all over the car, and they had like a huge music about the president, and they were just driving, like they were kind of giving us a hard time when they're driving, because they were like playing with us. So they would go just before my dad's car, and then they would stop all of a sudden just to see if he's gonna say something. That's just a game for them. Those are the people that we were dealing with. And whatever you say, trust me, they wouldn't mind just taking their gun and shooting you, and just for fun. That's just how it was. All right. And I dealt with those kind of people up until the age of 18, and I left the country. I've been out the country for 12 years, and it's still in my mind. So imagine people that are still living there, people that were in the prisons, people that were tortured, people that couldn't even leave, people that grew up there but lived there all their life. Now their mind is just messed up because that's all they knew. Statues of the president every 2 minutes, all right? Pictures of the president every 2 minutes. Even if in our history class, in Syria, in the Arabic class, they would only praise the president. I would tell people, it's even worse. It's the worst dictatorship that you can imagine. I don't think anybody can understand unless you lived there. All right, just being kind of forced to shut up and to walk with whatever they want. All right, and having business over there would be nearly impossible up until you want to work with them. All right, and of course they would want to take a piece of it once you start making more and more money. It's a mafia. It's guided by mafia. But it's really not just about the business part. People talk about corruption. There's corruption everywhere. It's not just about the corruption. It's not just about that they had all the millions and the people didn't have anything. It's not just about the fact that people didn't have electricity also, or they didn't have food, but it was how they were treating their own people as slaves. That's really like what the most people say they want the most. It's not just they want money, or they want, I don't know, I want to be able to have a McDonald's, or I want to be I don't know, I want an iPhone. It's not that. It's people, they want their dignity back. That is the word, dignity. All right, when your kid disappeared just like that, and you can't even talk. One time, my dad had cancer, right? And I wanted to go see him in Syria. I wasn't able to go to see my dad in Syria because I've been here for over, I didn't pay yet. I hadn't paid yet to do my army, to serve in the army. Over there, if you don't serve in the army, you're considered illegal. You're considered like a traitor. All right. So I wanted to pay. So I called the embassy here, and I'm like, hey, I want to see what is the procedure. My dad is sick. He's in Syria. He's got cancer. I want to go see my dad. Is it possible to pay? I left the army at 18. And he's like, you left the army? You know, you're a traitor. You're a traitor to your country, and now you want to go back, right? And he was kind of like talking down on me, and I was, it's just a little story, but it's just to show you like how those guys were whatever you do, they were guilt tripping you, and they would make you feel bad about everything and anything. You just had no dignity. You wouldn't dare to say anything. You would just say yes and walk in line. And that's just how it was, man. That's just how it was in school. That's just how it was living there. All right. And people are just fed up, you know. People are just fed up. After 12 years, I can finally say, hopefully one day I can go back. Now that I paid, I paid it. Maybe I shouldn't have, because the government has changed. So maybe I wasted $10,000, but it's okay, you know. But now I can finally say, probably there will be hope for a better future. All right, maybe it's not now, maybe now it's a little bit chaotic, and maybe now we're seeing a little bit of everything happening and people are scared. What about the Christians, the Muslims, and this and that? But I'm telling people whatever it is that's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be much more worse than it was. No electricity, no food, sometimes no water. What else? What else? The people had to wait. People had an amount of gas to fill up their car that they can't even exceed. It's like, I mean, it's as bad as it gets, right? So yeah, people were. I mean, yeah, no. I'm happy what happened. I'm happy what happened. I'm happy that he's gone. And trust me, guys, those guys. If you see the videos of the parking, the cars that they had, all the money that they took, all the stuff that they stole from the Syrian people, over 50 years that the Syrian people have been living under a shoe on their head, a shoe on their head because they've been walking upon. That's just how it was. That is just how it was. The government and the Assad regime were ruling with an iron fist, and this is as bad as it was. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I've got so many stories to share, but I don't want to be like I had it bad. I didn't have it bad, to be honest. I'm alive. I have all my legs, all my feet, all my fingers. I'm here. The people that had it bad is the people that's been in those prisons, tortured for over 10 years. I saw a video, a guy said that they were feeding him one olive a day, and then for the supper he would having like one, let's say, cup of brod, so let's say rice. All right, that was his diet, and he wouldn't even dare to say what's his name. He would say his number. All right, that's just how it was, man. That's just how it is. This is crimes against humanity at its worst. I mean, it never happened. It never happened, and we are discovering it now. Meanwhile, those elites and the Assad enthusiasts that benefited the most, that were traveling to Dubai every single week to buy some Louis Vuitton purses, well, I knew people that were in my school that they were sending their driver to Lebanon to get them McDonald's and come back so they can have McDonald's for lunch. So the driver would do a 4-hour road. That's how spoiled those kids were. Meanwhile, people in the street didn't have enough money to buy shoes. They were walking bare feet. All right, that's just to tell you how bad it was. And he had this facade outside that he was this all innocent man, but that is not the reality, man. People were tired. And I have my friend Shas. They tortured his mom, put her in prison. I think she just got released yesterday. She was 7 months in prison. They can't find his dad, and they were saying that they were that their parents were spies for France or something like that, just because his mom visited him in France. That's just how crazy it is. That's just how crazy it is. They can easily say, well, you know what? You said something against the government, you're done. So imagine how much fear you must have. When we were like 16, 17, 18, growing up in a wars, waiting at checkpoints. So basically there was a checkpoint every, let's say, 1 kilometer. My heart used to beat as a crazy horse. I can't even forget it, because you don't know what's gonna happen. They might be, maybe the soldier is in a bad mood, or he just wanna have fun and play and be like, hey, you know what? I don't like your face. Come with us. Let us have fun a little bit with you. You don't even know what's gonna happen. All right. Yeah. One time, me and my friend, I was walking nearby a police station. I dropped my phone on the floor, so my phone went under a police car. All right. No, it wasn't even a police car. It was a regular car. I go down. I take my phone. I turn around. I see those police guys, and it's like they're bullies. It's a mafia. So they're just like, what are you guys planting? Are you guys planting something under the car? We're like, no, we're not planting anything. I just dropped my phone. 15, 16-year-old kid. 15, 16-year-old kid. I mean, what can we be planting? The guy took us in a corner. We were 4 guys. Boom, slapping us. Each one got a solid slap on the face. Boom, boom, boom. All right, show me your papers. Yeah, what should we do with them? What should we do? Yeah, let them go. Boom, another slap. All right. Go to your house, go. That's just that was fun for them. All right. I've got so many stories. I mean, some stuff that I don't even think people would believe it. One time I was going to school and there was all those bodyguards that was, anyways, I don't want it to be about me, you know. I had it good compared to a lot of people. I had it good. Just telling you guys, this was a dictatorship that a lot of people were so living in fear, and their mind is so conditioned that this president was idolized, like to a point where we couldn't even dare saying the name of the president, and we had to like convince ourselves that we love him, and we had to convince ourselves some stuff, because if you say otherwise, they will come for you. All right, I don't know if there's any regime like this that is like that. Trust me, people are happy because they're free and they can have their dignity back. This is the most important, the dignity. All right, that's it, guys. I'm happy that it has fallen. Some people are telling me, well, maybe it's not a good news because this will happen and that would happen. Let's see it unfold. I mean, it wasn't a good news for the past 50 years for the country, so let's see now what's gonna happen. All right, so that's it for this video, guys. And imagine all the refugees, the people living in tents, the people that grew up without father or mother, that are now 18, 20 years old. I mean, those guys are happy to go back to their country, and yeah, you might see some looting or whatever, and people are just, because people are not even believing it. That's what I believe. I'm talking with a friend and he's like, man, we haven't slept for 3 days because everybody's just celebrating. So that's it for this video, guys. It's a different topic. I'll see you soon. Ciao.